Hey everyone, this is Eric back with Auto Replay and stopping by the shop, aka storage unit. I gotta get a tool, a wire crimper, because I'm going to redo the actual wire harness that's going to the stereo on this 2008 Dodge Nitro. This is like a 3.7. I think it's like an XXT or something, or SLT, I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna redo it because I had put in the aftermarket radio in this when we first got it, because the original OEM radio did not work. And lo and behold, when I ran the scan tool on it, that I found out that the actual computer data bus runs through the actual radio, the factory radio. And right now I'm getting a fault on my instrument cluster, I'm getting a fault on the HVAC, and it was like another thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in this piece. I'll show you. We'll go from there and check it out. All right, so it's the next day. Show you what part I got here. This is an older part, but I think this should clear everything up. This is a Pack Pacific Accessory Corporation. Looks like a C2R-CHY. I think the new part number is a CHY4, but it's a radio interference harness, and I think this is supposed to help with the CAN bus, you know, because this will plug into, this gray plug will plug into the actual wire harness of the vehicle here. And so if you are putting in an aftermarket factory radio, I would definitely look at getting a harness that has a CAN bus interface for your vehicle. So everything still works the same. So we're gonna go back through this and take this apart. So there's two screws up here. I think you get them with a Phillips. So go ahead and get that loose, out the way. That should be pretty simple. I don't know if I ever showed this on the first one that well. So I'm gonna go back through it and lift this up. I might have to take these all the way out. Okay, so I moved both screws out the top, and it looks like I should be able to pull this straight out of here. Okay, and set that to the side. So there's just, like, you want to really see it, there's just clips on the side, and you just gotta, if you just pull it this way, I believe this whole front trim will come out also. So let me see, unplug this down here, get rid of all this mess. I think from what I remember, this just kind of clips in here, 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 somewhere down in here also. So let me see about unsnapping that. It's good if you got that plastic trim. Okay, it looks like this just pops out right like that. And kind of wiggle out the bottom. Because I don't remember pulling anything else out. So let me see if I could get this to come out. This is the fun part, right? This is where you got those plastic panel removals. It'd be good. So let me get two hands on the bottom. I think there's just two clips, one on either side here. And see, they're just little clips that just snap in place, you know, all around this place. So let me make sure that I pull it straight out while I'm not trying to record at the same time. So you definitely want to have a plastic pick or something to really grab underneath this and pull it straight out. I went ahead and just grabbed like a flathead and popped it out on this side. So I'm gonna do the same on this side, just basically just being careful just to get behind the plastic trim and just pulling it this way. I mean, obviously you don't want to break anything, but I think for the most part I got most of it loose. I just want to pull on this side right here. So this is where a plastic trim removal kit would come in handy, because they have that hook and you could get that hook in there and just pull it straight out. So that's the recommendation I would say. I could put a link in the description. You get them on Amazon for like 20 bucks, but you definitely want to pull this whole plastic trim out straight, because there's clips all throughout here. So let me go ahead and pull this out. All right, so now I have this whole plastic trim loose. I went ahead and put the key just on the on. Turn on this off, but I'm gonna just move this down to neutral, make sure I don't go nowhere. I am on the hill, so I could get this trim where I could get to the back of this radio. And there's 4 screws, one on each corner here for the bracket of the radio, just going on either side. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that removed too. All right, instead of really moving this to the side, this aftermarket radio is pretty small, so I should be able to just work it from behind here. And then we go ahead and unplug it from the back, and here's the harness where it connects to. So let me go ahead and work on unplugging all this, and then we'll take it inside to do the wire harness. All right, so what I've noticed is that on the original OEM plug, there's a white and a gray wire here, and it looks like a white and orange wire here that's on this side of the OEM, but not on this side of the aftermarket harness that I first originally bought. So this is for the actual computer data bus that's coming from the car. It's a plus and a negative. I have to look up which one's which, but that's the only difference that I'm missing. And this is what's causing faults on the HVAC, the heat and air controls, and the instrument cluster, because this data bus is not running to the computer. There's no interface. So I'm gonna have to get the actual C2R-CHY4 that has the right plug for this, and then we'll go from there. So it's been a couple days. I actually got the right part that's needed for this 2008. It's a C2R-CHY4 from PAC. It actually has both wire harnesses, and one is for the older version, whereas this is for the 2005, and this is for probably the 2008s and up. So this is the plug that I needed. So this part just came in today. It's the C2R-CHY4. This is the actual radio interface that you need. It's distributed by PAC. It actually comes with a set of instructions, a blue interface that plugs into either one of these modules here that'll plug into your car directly. So this is for like a 2005 and the older ones versus the 2008 and new ones. This is the one that I need that the original C2R-CHY did not have. So we're gonna go ahead and splice this wire harness here into the actual aftermarket radio that I have. And these wires, this wiring diagram kind of tells you everything, how it's gonna go. It's really color for color, you know, for the speakers, and then, you know, red is positive and yellow is like, yeah, so like this is the actual wire diagram. Yellow is your 12 volts positive, black is ground, your white is your front left plus positive for your speaker. Your white and black is front left negative for your speaker. Your gray is the front right speaker. Your green is the rear left speaker. The purple is the rear right speaker. And then there's some extra wires for, you know, turn on the amp. Yes, your blue and white out of this harness here. And other things that you need to do for like actually hooking up the reverse camera, which is not installed yet. So so basically I'm gonna go ahead and grab the radio out the car, and then we'll look at splicing this section into it. And basically, like I was saying, the difference is that this one has a set of communication wires that goes into the actual car. This pink, and it looks like a pink and black wire right here next to these two yellows. So that's the one thing that the original wire harness adapter did not have, was this communication bus, which is going to this blue interface. So we'll go ahead and grab that and start working on it. Before I go remove the stereo, once again, I wanted to show, this is the set of matte code or matte CC. This is the plastic trim removal kit, and I'll probably be using something like this tool right here to actually get in there and pull out, you know, the trim on where the cigarette lighter is. Just gotta get in there and kind of pull it out this way. So we'll see which one kind of works best for that, or maybe something like this, or, you know, one of these. So we'll go ahead and get that done, but I just want to show you the actual toolkit that is very helpful when pulling off door panels, you know, plastic trim around your instrument cluster, and you know, the dashboard area. In a sense, these are keys for removing Mercedes-Benz radio, stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. So I went ahead and got this radio removed and unplugged it from the wire harness of the car. So like I said, we're going to find the actual wire harness that's provided and match it up to the one that we're going to wire to the actual aftermarket radio. Okay, so they should look the same. And like I said, the only difference between this plug and that plug is that this one on the left side has the pink wires next to this yellow wire right here, if you can see it while I'm holding it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all this electrical tape here loose and go ahead and cut this wire harness off that was on there before and get ready to put on the new wire harness that's right here in a sense. So we're gonna go ahead and strip each one of these wires here out with a wire strip I got. So let me see if I can get set up for that. Okay, so I got my wire stripper right here, and this thing is so old it doesn't show the numbers, but a new one will show the numbers here. Basically, I would just try to gauge the wire for the size hole. So I'll be putting this wire in this far left hole here, and basically I try to gauge it where I have enough wire right there. It kind of tells you the length from this edge to here, and you just just clamp it down, kind of hold it, and you just hold this other side of the wire and just strip it out. So basically you just want to make sure you got a good, you know, half-inch of copper stranded wire showing. So I'm gonna do that with all of these here, get all of these ready to actually put these red butt connectors on. And since this wire harness is done for anyway, I'll kind of show you on this one. What I do is take where this white dot is here. This is why I like this kind of wire crimper, because it has this little notch here. So I would slide the wire in till the point of having it right about there. You can kind of feel it kind of stop. And if you got a little bit longer wire, that's fine. But I would stop it about right there. You know, you just kind of slide in and you kind of feel it stop. And then, you know, make sure it's seated in there, it doesn't fall out. And then I would proceed to take the wire crimper and I would make sure that dot is just past the little edge, you know, a little bit in. So that's where I'm at, and I would just go ahead and, you know, crimp it down. So like on this one, it's already crimped. Kind of show you, you know, before I gotta go get them, but I would just sit there and just crimp it down basically like this until it gets nice and tight. And then I would pull on the wire, make sure it doesn't pull out. Now I know I got a good connection, because you should be able to, you know what I mean, you could pull on this, you know what I mean, it's not coming loose. And I've done radio wire harnesses like this for years. I mean, there's a better way now that they actually have solder that's in there and it melts and all this and that. So they do have newer stuff now, but I'm so used to this. This is the ones I buy. All right, so I got everything stripped out here for the speaker side, the power, and then what I noticed in here is that there's a red wire. Where's that red wire? Right here. This accessory output 12 volts. I'm gonna strip this one out too and have that go to the red accessory output of the radio, because I had this red wire from the radio going to the cigarette lighter before, but in a sense this new one should provide its own 12 volts power from this interface. So basically, like I said, I got all these copper stripped out. I bought a set of butt splicers. You get these on Amazon. I got the 22 to 16 gauge. I like the red ones because I feel like they're the right size. And basically, we're just going to start with one of them and just start putting them on, like I said, till they kind of stop right around here. And we'll take the crimper and crimp it around there. And then basically just, you know, make a little notch in it and give it a tug a few times. And so we're gonna do all the speaker inputs. This yellow, white wire and this red wire. And I think there's a black wire ground in there too. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and get this wired into the radio harness here. This is the speaker, this is the power, ground and whatnot. And once that's all wired, I'll go ahead and put it back in the car. We'll try it out. And hopefully the faults for the instrument cluster and the HVAC go away. So we'll go from there. One thing I do not like is, from what I've seen, is like this little silver, you kind of see it right there, it's kind of showing. So I mean, that with that being 12 volts, I wouldn't want that showing at all. I mean, the ground's probably fine, but you know, that should be more tucked inside here. I don't like that, but you know, what's the likelihood of a wire touching that, you know? But still, anything like that just kind of throws me off. So let me go ahead and knock this out. All right, so I got everything wired from the pack harness directly to the radio wire harness there. And I'm just gonna go ahead and give a pull on all these, just make sure they're nice and tight. There's no copper showing, you know, that may short anything out. That's the worst. You don't want to be driving your car, turn up your radio, then freaking thing dies. So make sure everything's nice and tight. I'll see if this ACC wire will work. Hopefully we'll turn it on, and we'll go ahead and do a test run and go from there. All right, so everything came on. I had to plug in this interface, obviously. Looks like that's powered on. So the red wire going for the ACC definitely goes through this interface. So everything's hooked up like it should be. We're going to finish the install and go from there. Well, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do, and I'll catch you on the next one.